Pope Leo is laying out the Catholic Church's position on artificial intelligence this morning and urging world leaders to safeguard people from its impact. It's the first encyclical of his tenure, a document laying out official church guidance, and Pope Leo is using it to warn against the rush to develop AI. Now, Megan Williams covers the Vatican for us. She's usually in Rome, but she's here in Canada this week. Good morning, first of all.
Good morning, David. Nice to see you in person.
Good to see you in person as well. It's quite something to see the Pope. This is the very first encyclical, the very first one of his time as Pope. What's he laying out there?
Well, as you say, it's his first encyclical. So what he's signaling, first of all, is that for him, this is a very, very serious issue, artificial intelligence. And it's not a rejection of it, but it is a call to keep control in the hands of the people and not let the corporations who are developing it or individuals who are developing it decide what happens with it. It's also important to understand that we need to read this through the lens of the Industrial Revolution, because his predecessor, not Pope Francis, but his Pope Leo predecessor, the Pope Leo XIII, came out 135 years ago with a very important encyclical during the Industrial Revolution, speaking out against exploitation of workers and for workers' rights. So this is the lens through which this encyclical, Pope Leo wants this encyclical to be read. And here he is talking about why he thinks it's important.
Matured a disturbing conviction expressed in Magnifica Humanitas. Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity.
And part of his concern as well, David, is war. We know that there are a number of terrible wars happening throughout the world that the Pope has spoken up very forcefully against. And his concern is that, as he says in this document, that morality will be passed on to algorithms, and something that he and many people desperately do not want to happen.
Yeah, it's sort of taking the humans out of the equation in many ways. Look, Pope Francis, Leo's predecessor, spoke about AI, but didn't make it as central to his papacy as Leo appears to be doing. Why is that?
Well, I think, that's an interesting question. Obviously, AI has really risen into the forefront of our lives, and our concerns about it are huge. So I think timing is part of it. But I think it's also who this Pope is. And I asked the founder of the largest Catholic AI in Rome, who's actually Canadian, Matthew Harvey Saunders, about this. And here's what he said.
Part of it, I think he's just an American. So, he kind of grew up with technology and was very aware of the impacts of technology on his day-to-day life. So for that reason, I think he's always been a user of technology. He's also someone who's worked on the peripheries and very in rural parts of the world, and he knows what kind of impact it has when that technology is not available, right? Because he's had to work around those constraints.
So this is a Pope who, he's essentially a much more modern Pope. He's a younger Pope than Francis, and he gets it.
These encyclicals tend to be very long. He's reading it out. There's dense language in there. But the slave trade comes up. Now, why is that? Well,
again, I think it relates to the exploitation of workers. Pope Leo is apologizing for past popes not speaking out against the slave trade. In fact, past popes going back to the 15th century actually endorsed and promoted the slave trade. So I think that's part of it. But this is a Pope who comes from many years in South America. He's very aware of these issues, and he used this as an occasion to apologize for something that he sees linked to the exploitation with AI.
Well, that's quite something. All right, Megan Williams, thank you very much for dropping by. Good to see you in person.
Good to see you.